Hi, welcome to in this video we're dealing with compound interest using all encompassing formula. I believe you watched the previous videos on compound interest where simple interest was used to calculate interest for a particular period of time. And at the end of the video it was noted that there is all encompassing formula which you must watch, and this is where we are going to have the class. Using all encompassing formula, A equals to P open bracket 1 plus R all over N close bracket to the power of NT. What is A? A is the total amount at the end of the calculations, which is the initial principal plus the total interest made at that particular period of time given, and at the numbers of times the interest is compounded. While P, the principal amount, that is still the first amount of money that is invested or deposited or borrowed, whatever the case is. And then R is the rate at which the interest is compounded. So N is the number of times the interest is compounded per year. Like the previous videos, if you have watched it, you see that there was a question that said that the interest is compounded semi-annually, meaning that 2 times in a year. So this is where we get to know the number of times that the interest is compounded in a year. And then T time is the time the money is invested in years. So we're going to take the examples that was used using the simple interest formula to calculate. Then we're going to use the all encompassing formula to calculate the same questions and see that we're going to arrive at the same answer. So let's take example number 1. Example number 1 is just taking the question that says that calculate the compound interest on 10,000 naira, 10% per annum for 3 years. So let's get into the solution. We already know the all encompassing formula to be A equals to P open bracket 1 plus R all over N close bracket to the power of NT. So the first thing is we state the formula. A equals to P open bracket 1 plus R all over N close bracket NT. So we're going to state the parameters of these formulas from the question we were given to solve. What is the A? We don't know. And what is the P? The principal. The principal is the total is the principal amount, that is 10,000. So we have this to be 10,000 naira. Then what is our R? The rate at which the interest is compounded, 10% per annum. 10%. So what is our R? What is our N? Our N is the number of times interest is compounded, and that is per annum, that is per year, 1. That is 1. And then the value of T is the time the money is invested in years. So it is invested for how many years here? Correct, 3 years. So this is going to be 3 years. So let's impute this into the formula that we have. So A is equal to the P is 10,000 open bracket 1 plus our R is 10 all over 100. Remember, it's 10%, 10 all over 100. Then everything over our N is what? 1 close bracket. The N is 1 multiplied by 3. So we just impute all the parameters in the formula. So this is just 10,000 open bracket 1 plus 10 all over 100 is 0.1, right? So this is 0.1. All over 1 is still 0.1 raised to power of 3. So we have 10,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.1. That is 1.1. So in our bracket 1.1 raised to power of 3. 1.1 raised to power of 3. So 1.1 raised to power of 3 is 1.331. So that's 10,000 multiplied by 1.331. So by the time you multiply 10,000 by 1.331, see you have 30 here. This 30 can move this point 3 times to the side, such that this becomes 10 multiplied by 1,331. By the time you multiply, we have 13,310 as the total amount. 13,310. Remember from this that this total amount is the principal plus interest. So if the question is definitely asking only about the interest and not the total amount, remember this is the total amount. So you will need to subtract the principal, that is the initial principal, from this total amount to get the interest compounded in it. So remember that A is equals to P plus I. So for me to get this I, it becomes A minus P equals to I. That's the compound interest. And the A is 13,310 minus the P, which is 10,000. So the compound interest, that is CI compound interest, is equal to 3,310. So 3,310 naira was the compound interest. If you have watched the previous video, you would have seen that this particular question gave us the same answer. So for those of you that you didn't watch the video, you can see this was the question calculate, and we use simple interest to calculate it. At every year that we calculated, we sum up the interest and we got 3,310. Can you see the scene? 3,310. So you may want to go back and watch the video how we got 3,310 using simple interest formula. So the same thing, the compound interest formula solved for us and we got the same answer. Let's take example 2 that we also used in the simple interest formula. So let's use the all-encompassing formula to calculate the second example. So let's go. Example number 2. Example 2. A deposit of a deposit of 5,000 earns an interest of 8% per annum, compounded semi-annually. Compounded semi-annually. So the question says, find the interest. Find the interest made after 2 years. So let's find the interest made after 2 years. Solution. The first thing you should state is your formula. A equals to P open bracket 1 plus R all over N bracket NT. Now parameter to the given parameters of the formula. So our A, we don't know. We're going to calculate. The principal is 5,000. The R, we need the R. The R is the rate, and that is 8%. Then the N. Now this is where you need to be careful. You can see the N is the number of times that the money is compounded. The number of times that the money is compounded. And when you check the number of times, you see it's 2 in a particular year, because 2 times, because it's semi-annually. So it is done 2 times. I believe that if you had watched the previous videos, we said that is 1 all over 2. That's formula for simple interest. So it was 0.5 of a year. So 0.5 of a year is half of a year, right? So in this case, this formula says n is the number of times that the interest was compounded in a year. And if we check from the word semi-annually, it means that half, that is half a year, so that's 2 times in a year. So the n year is 2, and then the time that the money was invested was just 2 years too. So t is equals to 2. So let's put in these parameters into the formula and find our answer. A is 1000, open bracket, 1 plus r is 8 all over 100, then everything n all over 2, close bracket, n till is 2 times 2. So this becomes A equals to 5000, open bracket, 1 plus 8 over 100 is 0.08, 0.08 divided by 2, close bracket, 4. So this becomes 5000, open bracket, 0.08 divided by 2 is 0.04. So plus 1, that will be 1.04 all raised to power of 4. So 1.04 raised to power of 4, that gives us 5000, open bracket, 1.169. Let's leave it to 3 decimal place. So 1.04 raised to power of 4 gives us 1.169. So by the time we multiply 1.169 by 5000, we have 5849.50. So 5849.50. So this is our total amount at the end of 2 years. Now let's calculate our compound interest. Remember that A amount is equals to principal plus interest. Now that we are looking for the interest then is equals to A minus the principal. So the A we got was 5849.50 minus the principal that we started with was 5000. So 5000. So when we subtract that, we end up having 849.50 or 0.50, 849.50. So you will see this is the compound interest at the end of 2 years. Now if you compare our answer that we got in the previous one that we used the simple interest, you will see that they are the same. So for those of you that you've not watched, I will enjoy you to go and watch the previous video on compound interest using simple interest. So you could see the second calculation, that is example number 2, we got finally 849 naira 0.29. So here we got 849 naira 0.50. Who can tell the difference? Yes, approximation. So the little approximation was 50 here, 50 here, 50 here. I believe you understood everything we did in this video, and I believe that you can calculate compound interest using the all-encompassing formula A equals to P, open bracket, 1 plus r all over n raised to the power of nt. Good. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.